The thing that has surprised me the most is how much better the tier 2 teams are than the tier 3 and college teams.
I think definitely fearless drafting has been really surprising, but just the overall like skill level of the league has gone up in my opinion. And that's been really fun for me as a competitor, and it's just been really nice to see for like the scene overall.
It was more just like last year, like the switch between the academy and NACL. Now it's like the only thing that changed for me is just like the fearless draft. That's pretty much the only thing that surprised me, honestly.
I guess DSG, they're not doing so good. Like somehow they lost to us. I'm not sure about TL. I don't know. It's hard to say because I think both teams, TL and Disguise, their top laners are still top of the table, right, in the league. But something's not clicking. Maybe top is just weak. If your best player is in your top lane, it's not gonna get you wins, you know? Probably want that guy to be on the carry, right?
How good my teammates are and how bad everyone else is. TL or DSG, and I mean, look at them. You can't have names like that on your roster and fail. And if you are failing and you're not taking active steps to fix that, which I think TL are, but I don't see DSG doing, I think that's a failure as a professional player.
Trying to work on my consistency. I think I'm like good at a lot of things, but sometimes I'll like get in my own head, not feel very confident, that'll like affect my play. So keeping up my level of play right now.
I'm still getting solo kill a bunch, so that's not changed at all. I guess I'm working on my laning. Sometimes I just find new ways to die randomly. Definitely just focusing more on my laning, watching VODs, you know, all that, focusing more.
Definitely my laning phase. I think coming into tier 2, the level of matchup understanding and just controlling lane is a lot more important, especially in the bot lane meta right now with like Kalista and Lucian Melia and all that strong early game stuff.
Right now, I'm just working on my consistency. I know I said that for a little bit if you've been following my story, but I really think I can be the best player in the world if I just get rid of all my mistakes. But I just got a little bit too many of them right now. But yeah, that's my #1 goal.
My mid-game tempo usage is the most important thing. When it comes to like pure laning, I'm already better than basically all of the tops in LCS. I feel pressured to always be doing something because that's the kind of league that I've been taught. But there are certain times when sitting around and doing nothing is a better course of action. Quad, Rocco, and Sheetan specifically, I'd say Jay is like the biggest help with this, which is surprising because he's a jungler. He doesn't let me cope, which is really good. I mean, I don't cope a lot, but like maybe in the moment immediately after doing something, I'll be like, oh, that's not so bad. But then we go back and look at it, I'm like, okay, that's pretty bad.
So understanding better of what my role is, because I feel like last split, I had more freedom in the champs I was picking. This split, I'm trying to play more of like the meta champs, I would say. Understanding more of like what my job is and understanding what I need to be calling for as a carry role.
Probably my individual skill. Let my gameplay like flow into my teammates. Like sharing my ideas more pretty much. Kind of got to know the difference when to like take a backseat and then when to like, you know, be hard calming as a jungler.
Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS Challengers League Summer Promotion. It's a long one, beat down. We're going on every single game, making it to 3, and that's no different here with CCG Esports versus Ole Miss.
No, and again, it's just been a pretty back-and-forth series. I will say the first game where Ole Miss won was a little bit closer than the last game. This last game, I mean, CCG dismantled them. And Yukino...
It was almost a 20-minute closeout.
Yeah, they were really close to finishing it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the game was realistically done then too. I mean, you got to give props. Early game was played out really well. Small lead given over to Yukino and Bradley, and they moved that stuff. They moved it everywhere.
And that's why that duo is so fun to watch, man, because they were two players who did boot camp in Korea, right?
Yeah.
Starting off with Bradley, I mean, last split for him, he tried out for DSG, didn't see any NACL offers that he really liked, so it's like, all right, I don't feel as good playing in the split. I'd rather improve elsewhere. I'd rather go over to Korea, do a boot camp there, and constantly keep up. Somewhat of a similar story with Yukino.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's been pretty interesting too, because there were a lot of players that, with the reduction of the amount of teams in the league last summer, that unfortunately we couldn't see playing the NACL anymore. Yukino was definitely one of them. Who was a player who I think we saw grow really quickly. Again, people in the 100 Thieves camp really praised his work ethic and how good he was to work with, which I think is great for up-and-coming players. So to see both trying to win their way back into NACL alongside players like Instinct, who's looking a lot better than last year as well, and it's cool.
It's great to see them back, especially considering the circumstances. Like Yukino Just like, I kind of missed the split. I'm just going to go get first in NA and be happy with that. And of course, you know, able to pull it off like it's no one's business. Bradley was the kind of more wholesome story to me, because he was out in Korea when he got the call and wasn't really sure if he was going to compete. He talked to his mom about it, and his mom was the supportive one, saying, you got to go out there and do it. You got to play with them. So the determining factor that got Bradley to come back a little bit earlier to actually play on CCG, which it always warms my heart when you hear some of the interactions with parents. You know the way I am with that. I like hearing that family support.
100%. I mean, you should have seen APA's family on Twitter, too. Everyone was super excited about when he won LCS. It's just a great thing overall. And I think on Ole Miss's side, it's been pretty cool to see how far they've come as a roster as well. I mean, that shout out to your Uncle Sam for how much better he's looked over the last couple months. Shogo, I think still despite that last game being a player to be really excited about as far as marksmen go, I think he's a really strong prospect. And someone who, you know, even if they end up losing today, someone you'd hope to see in the NACL, because you got to imagine there are a couple of players that we've seen today, Eric, that are in qualifiers that I think can already play at the NACL level. Shogo is one of them. I'm looking at Bradley Yukino. I think Instinct now has gotten himself in that conversation with how he's played this split. So we'll see if they'll be able to actually make that jump.
Shout out to the previous series. I think Denethor is another one of those names that I would like to see.
Yes, he was.
Tier 2 space.
Yes, he was.
Now we are headed into Game 3, our final draft of the day. First thing that is going to pop out to me is that CCG have already grabbed the Jinx, which means they're not allowed to take it. This does give Shogo an opportunity to pursue that marksman pick.
Right, and it's less about the carry to me and more about how you set it up. I mean, that last Kog'Maw game, I mentioned it. It wasn't the greatest setup for a hyper carry like Kog'Maw. And they kind of paid for it with how difficult it was to actually peel for Shogo, how it was more about trying to get picks, and you had no way to protect him when people went on top of him. Maybe this time around, if they do end up going for a first pick Jinx angle, they're able to set it up nicely.
Of course, Shogo's very, very good when it comes to playing that champion. Just need to set up the resets for him, and he'll do the rest of the work for you. Bans come out, still going for those very signature marksman bans that we've seen so many times already. Stock standard. Varus taken off the map. Callisto, way too aggro. Don't want to deal with that over in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
I'll be removed as well.
I mean, especially with how popular Jinx and Aphelios have become, and it's just all the more reason to get rid of those lane-dominant carries, 80 carries. So it makes a lot of sense. I'm wondering if that last ban is going to end up being the Karma, because that is something Ole Miss are usually happy to pick very early on. I mean, again, if it's in your Uncle Sam's wheelhouse, I feel like it's just going to be that B1 Karma. This is a lot of what he plays, and it's a great way to set up that potential Xin Zhao. But, oh, okay, it's the Talia instead.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that combo you were mentioning. Uncle Sam is definitely known best as a supportive player, and Karma just allows you to play through your other lanes, support them to flourish as much as possible. But, hey, you still get the roam ability of a Talia, which does play towards that type of standard of helping out your side lanes.
Yeah, and we're already seeing that potential threat of the Vi takeaway, because you do want to deny that really strong combo of the Vi Talia, and with the Ahri being locked in, I mean, you could just easily see that duo come through for CCG. It's kind of what I'm expecting.
I mean, if not the Vi, Nautilus is another one that pairs really, really well with the Ahri on top of it. So different things that really set up that pick for the Ahri to land her charm quite easily. Timer does tick out. They're going to go for the Xin Zhao instead.
Fair enough. I think that's also a pretty strong duo, really good at skirmishing. I'm wondering what the response will be. Zyrakan instantly. So you're giving Shogo a lot more of that agency, which, I mean, again, he's success for this Ole Miss squad. And I guess they're leaving the Talia up as flex and also just prioritizing that bot lane.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that the Karma got through, but I think at this point you feel safe letting it through, and knowing the Ahri was the first pick. You can't take it into the mid lane as you already have that Ahri. But now for CCG, just kind of teasing around with the Kog'Maw that you saw earlier, not locking that in. They want the Zeri.
And the Vayne Hover was funny too. But so Zeri, I mean, another hyper carry option that we've already seen played on the day. Same idea. You're trying to be really mobile in these fights. Between Bradley and Trevor, these are going to be players that you're not Trevor, Bradley and Instinct. They're going to be players that are hard to lock down. And I'm just kind of looking for the vibe band from CCG, and I think CCG will feel pretty good about what they've secured.
Set, they'll go for the Lee Sin for the time being, and I mean, Lee Sin has had a pretty big impact on the day so far, especially with what we saw in the last series. Yukino wouldn't shy away from that champion. If he didn't already lock in his jungle, that would go over to Icelandic Hero. But next ban away, now targeting the top lane pull. Zoloft gets banned away.
Just want to remove that option for Crimson. Now I'm wondering if it's going to be that Vi on the last pick. I think that's what I'm looking for. Deny that combo. It's been historically just a great answer into Zeri, and yeah, I think that's just the only answer.
Yeah, so the Vi ban makes perfect sense. We were highlighting it quite a bit. What else does this leave up on the table for Ole Miss to really play through that
Poppy?
At least might have a similar style?
I'm thinking Poppy. I think with Cassante being up too, like you got a lot of dashes on the side of CCG, a lot of movement. So Poppy and Talia as a combo, we don't see as much, but I do like it a lot, especially into a comp with a lot of dashes on their side.
Okay, this is another way you can play to the Xin Zhao a bit. It helps out this area so much. It's a very iconic combo, but if you want Trevor to roam out, Lulu pairs very well with Xin Zhao to get that similar effect that we talked about with Karma.
Yeah, and it's nice too because when you jump in as Zen, you have the knockup from the 3 Talon Strike, and what we often see too is that Wild Growth used on you as well when you're on top of an opponent. Yeah. You just throwing them in a bouncy house at this point. So now Stray needed to pick something blind at the top side that isn't named Cassante, and I think Udyr is probably the best bet.
So happy to grab that Udyr, but ooh, here's a pretty interesting pick if they want to go for it.
Don't talk about hovers. Talk about what we know.
Don't talk about hovers. Don't talk about hovers, Eric. Come on, man.
There you go.
Let's look away instead.
There you go.
Now we're gonna look at now I'm looking at it. It's a Galio. The Galio's locked in. Not a hover. Talk about it.
And we do get that confirmation that it is the Talia in the jungle, which we don't see very often, but it is still definitely a viable pick. And I'm trying to see what else we got here. So this Galio is interesting. We mentioned before that that's something your Uncle Sam will play a good bit. It's really great secondary engage, and Rhino is playing Rakan. So you already know he's going to be running full sprint with the quickness, and that heroic entrance is just going to follow right after. You're looking for this huge swath of CC, and you're hoping that you can turn that into a kill, especially with Talia being in the game. A lot of burst damage on that side as well, layered with everything else.
Yeah. Something CCG are going to have to keep a close eye on. Where is your Uncle Sam? Where is he at? Where is he at? Is he in the fog of war? Is he showing up to my lane? We have to keep a close eye on both Sam, on both Icelandic Hero, because the roam ability for Ole Miss to try and set up these early plays is pretty good. That's going to be a great window for them in the early to mid game. They have to capitalize on, but they can't fall victim to the skirmish of CCG. Once you get caught out by that, that could be the bitter end right there.
Right. I'm trying to think about how these mid-late game fights work for Ole Miss, because I see Zeri Lulu.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot of sustain, and you have a big opportunity for long fights, which Zeri likes. So, but Ole Miss have a lot of CC. So I think the key to victory here is if you're even in that mid to late game for CCG, is that you just want to be able to make space for Instinct. You don't have a lot of lockdown, so it's going to be hard to get on top of Shogo, but if you can't kill him, everything's great. On Ole Miss's side, can you actually get on top of the Zeri is the question. You have a lot of ways to do so, a lot of ways to pressure Instinct, and if you can blow him up at the start of every fight, you have a really good chance to make it happen. But the question is, can you actually blow him up? He does have the Ghost, he will have the Flash, and that's kind of, yeah, I think that's the most important thing.
Shout out one more time to our observers, Samantha Price, one of them giving us our little National Geographic tour. Everyone give a good old TY observers in the chat, because we definitely do appreciate them and the hard work that they've put in throughout this entire season. As we get ready for this last game, one thing that sticks out to me, Beatdown, and you can kind of jump back and forth with me on this, is I'm not really liking how much damage Ole Miss have brought to this.
You think there's not enough damage?
I don't think there's enough. Especially for how fast CCG are going to play a lot of these fights. That's my worry for Ole Miss right there. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that I don't necessarily agree with that. I think the damage Ole Miss have with Shogo and Icelandic on their champions, I think it's enough. Because I'm looking at CCG's comp. The only person, the highest priority target is going to be Instinct every time. But you have a lot of AoE CC. You're going to be able to hit a lot of people with things like the quickness, the grand entrance, the heroic entrance from this Galio as well. So you have a lot of ways to control space in these team fights. And I think that's going to make it hard for CCG to operate unless they peel for Instinct so very well. Also, top diff. I don't know what else to say. Because that feels bad.
That feels terrible. Yukino was just bullied out of that side of the map. Doesn't get to really have any fun time with his Raptors. You can tell he's about to double back right now as he does clear out his Wolves. But just Stray's presence right there with Udyr will concede a little bit of pressure, but it doesn't really matter that much to stop the Xin and take away a bit of Yukino's momentum early.
I think it is actually a really big deal. Yukino's on his second camp. Icelandic has done 3. So Stray, it cost him really not a whole lot to do so. It did cost him his early level 2, but as long as he doesn't die, who cares? And I think this is great for Icelandic because he's going to be able to get that first crab really easily. There's a world where he double crabs too. And if he does that, that first back is going to be really nice for him. And on a farming jungle like Talia, getting a big first clear like that, especially ahead of your opponent, feels amazing.
We are just getting word that a pause has happened, so back to our faces, unfortunately.
The night wasn't long enough, Eric.
Wasn't long enough.
That's it.
And for those of our viewers who are joining in quite late, hello, welcome. This is LCS Challengers League. We are currently doing the summer promotion, and this is round 1 of the summer promotion. So winner of this series will get to face off against one of the teams that is currently awaiting them, Mirage. And from there, try and continue the promotion, which very exciting, especially given the fact that every single series has gone to a Game 3, which means we got competition here, Beat.
Yeah, and I mean, the exciting thing, too, again, what we've been saying earlier, is that both our matches, including this one, is a repeat of one of the qualifier finals. This one was the repeat, the rematch, rather, of the qualifiers 2 finals. CCG just packed up Ole Miss like it was nothing. 3-0, ripped them to pieces, and Ole Miss, they got to punch back this series.
For context, CCG packed up that entire bracket. They didn't lose a single game once they got to playoffs.
Literally folded their clothes with them still in them.
Oh, wow, that's something we actually call Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, by the way.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that's the term for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, the art of folding clothes with people in them.
That's pretty funny. I didn't know that, actually.
All right, a little bit of a skirmish coming out over on the top side as Icelandic meets up with his top laner. Seismic shove at the perfect time while the stun comes out from Stray. Crimson still has his flash, so we'll be able to back out, and no first blood for Ole Miss.
No, he will be forced. Oh, I thought they were going to hold the wave, but no. Stray is just going to go ahead and shove that one in. But ultimately, nicely played by Crimson. Didn't have to use his flash. It was a good use of the Pathmaker to make it happen. But I want to take a look again at Jungle CS here. I like what Yukino's doing. He is going to drop that ward, get the timer on the Raptors. I thought he was going to try and invade because they should be coming up soon, but I guess how can he know for sure? Because Icelandic, you can see 31 CS to 20. And once he recalls, he's going to get a pretty good spend.
That purchase is going to be being ahead of the curve against Yukino. I feel good for this Talia, especially once you hit that level 6. You get the Weaver's Wall. And that's when you can really start playing the map on this Talia and start impacting these side lanes.
Yeah.
Ball comes out at the perfect time for Trevor. Doesn't get noticed in the alcove. But with that recall coming in, it's going to be the Dark Seal as well as an Amplifying Tome. Solana comes off the respawn.
And he got the socks as well. So a really nice first fight coming through from Icelandic. And he's probably just going to go back to farming, to be honest, because Talia is one of those jugglers where you want to get as much gold as you can before you actually need to fight for something. And I like what we're seeing from the laners of Old Miss this early game. Stray not only got vision down at the Raptors camp, also delayed Yukino's first clear heavily. Now your Uncle Sam is using the prio he has again. Keep track of the Zin's out. Keep track of Yukino on a champion where he should be having a lot of that early game impact. You want to negate that.
So this is kind of unfortunate, but still something worth bringing up. Ole Miss currently have a tornado warning at the moment.
Oh!
So they're playing in some pretty heavy conditions. If they take this, you know what, I don't think anything's going to stop them if natural disasters can't. Play goes off in the mid lane, but no one going to go down just yet.
No, but it's actually already an early use of that Spirit Rush. Bradley trying to take advantage of the fact that he hit level 6 first, but it's going to be a trade of objectives as well. First Drake going over to CCG. I think this is good for them. And the Grubs going over to Old Miss is pretty nice too. They're able to get 5 or 6. I mean, Stray, he's going to be a problem when it comes to hitting turrets for free, essentially. So he's going to benefit very heavily in side lane.
So as the neutral objectives get traded, Icelandic will be able to grab the Void Grubs, all the meanwhile Rhino. Just being a little bit of a pest alongside Shogo. You will have the level 6 from Uncle Sam if they want to jump in. So there it is, first blood gonna be found by Ole Miss. Chase on the Instinct. Instinct sees the angle, still peppering in those shots onto Rhino. Rhino can run as fast as he can. Shogo's not going to get away, neither is Rhino, and now here comes the rest of CCG. Charm going to land right on the money. Icelandic Hero is critically low. A seismic shove to try and create some distance, but Instinct will not be stopped. Finds a double kill.
And a big win for the bot lane of CCG. This is exactly what I was talking about in that draft. As soon as all your CC is out, Instinct, he feels great about his place in these team fights, and you'll see it again. It's a good angle. I like the vision that we're seeing here from Old Miss, but I mean, watch the angle again. Yeah, the dopamine from the 2-man knockup feels really good, but Instinct is the target, and as soon as that taunt misses, this fight I knew was over instantly, and CCG were gonna get so much.
That's 2 kills over to Instinct. The Zeri is now online. Gonna be a pretty rough situation for Ole Miss to get through. Got to deal with the wave of momentum that is currently CCG and a tornado at the same time. Good God.
That's right. It's definitely a lot of pressure to be dealing with here. Again, both these teams playing to stay in the upper bracket, playing to get a chance against Mirage Alliance in the next round. A lot of people's favorites to promote very, very quickly because of those roster changes. So, still, also on top of it, keeping your second life in this double elimination tournament.
So important for a lot of these players. As right now, Ole Miss currently on the back foot, but not by much. They still have plenty of opportunities to try and play these side lanes out for the early game to set up these plays to get themselves ahead. As it is right now, it still kills onto both Bradley and Instinct very, very early on, which is where you want the money to be for CCG. So it's something Ole Miss are going to have to reply to.
Yeah, and again, it's not like doom and gloom by any means. They just have to recognize that you got to go for the Zeri in these fights. And that's what I'm expecting to change. Whether it's next Drake, whether it is the next spawn of the Grubs, since Ole Miss are in a position to potentially get 6 of them.
I find that kind of funny. Unintentional sidestep thanks to the charm. Ends up causing the dodge of the wind becomes lightning. Now, I was about to say Surdy for a second. I almost misread that name so hard. Now Stray.
You're still thinking about yesterday.
I'm still thinking about yesterday, man. And of course, that top gap flex that Surdy did was very nice.
Oh yeah, that was
That's a great
funny.
picture, man.
Yeah.
Stray still putting on a little bit of gap of his own as he continues to push in a lot of these waves, try and proxy them, and you know what? Gonna be a hard force to stop once the Udyr gets going. But now look at this, Icelandic over in the bottom lane does have the Weaver's Wall. Tricky thing here is you can get the terrain to stop the Lulu, but it's hard to stop the Zeri, who can just hop right over it.
Yep.
Instead, not opting to go for the engage yet.
Kino and Bradley are actually in the area. They know Icelandic is here. wondering if there's actually a play. They trying to see if they can punish Icelandic moving towards his topside jungle, but there isn't actually a play there. He's just going to recall. Minute 20 till the next Drake. Wondering if we actually see it given up by Old Miss. You can see Icelandic is heading straight towards the top side, and he's pretty strong right now. Sword Shoes, Dark Seal, Hextech Alternator, feels really good at this stage of the game, Eric. And I think you're in a great spot to try and contest these grubs, because you have top lane that's constantly pushing, mid that's doing the same.
And that's the thing, like, Uncle Sam technically doesn't need hard prio over there just because he has his R. You just join in on the fight.
That's true.
The heartbeat. Now, Icelandic's able to take one so far, but this is where Yukino is going to start to get involved. Wants to deny the 5 or 6. Icelandic.
Fight?
Let's get caught out right here. Now the chase coming out from Yukino. Here it comes. Able to make the heroic entrance and take one down. Bradley will score that kill. Charm lands right onto the Galio, and your uncle's not looking too healthy. He will succumb to the power of Bradley.
So they end up getting... Oh no, it was only 4 grubs. And it was still costly, as they lost 2 players as a result of it. It was a nice play coming through from CCG. You can see them growing their gold lead just a little bit, getting more kills onto Bradley. This Ari, like you said, Eric, one of the players where you want gold to be 100%. On top of it, he's going to get a turret plate in the mid lane, and CCG, they're going to have the fast track to their second Drake.
And even Instinct was able to cash in, as that last pickup is going to be a static Shiv, which means a lot more push for this bottom lane of CCG. Already the pressure coming out, using the blast bomb over the wall. Yukino was spotted out by a ward. Shogo and Rhino instantly head for the heals. Ghost's going to be popped out by Shogo, and the bot lane of Miss gets under the tower.
And Icelandic looking like he's not even going to try and actually contest that Drake in any way. Instead, his top laner is proxying. He's going to go ahead and invade, take the red buff. And it's going to be 2 free Drakes going over to CCG.
Icelandic over on the top side, clearing out the camps of Yukino. He does have an angle to go straight for that Rift Herald. Oh, not a Rift Herald. Still the Void Grub that was up from earlier. So, hey, we do get 5 grubs for Ole Miss now, Beat.
That's true. And that's something that you're going to be pretty happy about. I mean, Stray's already shown us that he's going to have a lot of intimate time with structures. So getting 5 grubs, getting those Void Mites spawning is definitely feeling good. It's no Grubageddon, but look at how quickly... Oh my god, he's going to take a turn, isn't he?
Yeah. Yep. Having some alone time, one-on-one with this tower. He's good about it. Showed who's boss. First brick goes over to Stray. Now Crimson feels a little bit bitter. Say, hey man, you got to do that. Stray doesn't care. He's going to walk away. No problem. He's new deer. See ya.
Yeah. Very hard to kill. So that's a lot of gold he's gotten for himself. It's actually helped even up the gold in aggregate between both of these teams. Oh.
Nice charm coming in from Bradley.
Oh, I think he has a kill,
for the kill. Ooh, does get the flash out of Icelandic nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, Icelandic has to flash there. He ends up dying. Bradley still earns himself another turret plate on top of it, too. And, oh, Icelandic gets punished big time.
Hi, Yukino. Comes out
hey.
from the jungle, says hello. One simple poke, and it's dead. It's done. Another kill going over to Yukino, and that leaves the lead still over to CCG. Stray finding underneath the tower against Crimson. Dancing around here with the ghost being burnt out. Stray playing with fire, still alive, will finally collapse to Crimson.
Wow, I mean, in the one-on-one, it would have never happened, but he just walks into Crimson to, at the very least, make sure Yukino doesn't also get gold from that kill with the assist. But Yukino is just full control over that top side because he was able to kill Icelandic and get him out of the picture. So now you see Shogo moving top side to collect the wave. There's a world where Old Miss try and fight for this Herald, but I'm not sure I like their chances, to be honest. Yukino's on first item. Bradley is on first item and then some. Ooh. And Instinct and Shogo are pretty even. But even still, Old Miss taking the opportunity because of CCG's back. They're just going to go ahead and try and take this. Try is the keyword.
Fog of War is so deadly now for Ole Miss with Bradley having this lead. Never know where these charms are going to come from. Come back in, heroic entrance, Rhino looking for a way, but CCG are able to dogpile onto him. Weaver's Wall comes through. Bradley on the back end. Now Yukino trying to get out, but will not be able to flee. Your Uncle Sam. 1 kill picked up by Bradley. 2 kills picked up by Bradley. Able to land a charm onto Stray, and Bradley is chasing him down, man. We'll get 2 in the name of CCG.
And again, Ole Miss, the fights are not going their way because they can't touch the carries of CCG. So they lost the fight, they lose the Herald, and another turret is surely going down as well. We're 2 minutes away from this next Drake. CCG have an opportunity to get more gold because of the Herald that Trevor is holding on to as well. And they've shot this gold lead up to 2,500.
Another look at this one. I mean,
that's a tragedy.
It was a good seismic shove to come out and like kind of push them out, but Bradley with the chase.
Yeah, and what matters too is that the heroic entrance, again, it gets nobody. And that's the big value there, the CC, not the magic damage shield that you get from it. So the angle is there, Bradley has the wild growth, and he just keeps resetting. Even after his ult expires, he's able to get some serious damage done. And this was my concern about that fight, Eric. You didn't quite have the gold. Herald is tankier than she used to be. You know, she's been working out. And Ole Miss couldn't take it in time. Yeah.
Joining Ole Miss in the gym. Eating them eggs for breakfast.
Unfortunately, Ole Miss could not keep up with Shelly.
Unfortunately. Because now Ole Miss starts to set up in the mid lane. Dragon spawning in the next minute. You already have Rhino and Sam towards that side of the map. One of my worries is if they don't get this set up exactly right and they give Bradley opportunities to flank, they will be torn apart. Bradley right now 4-0-2, and this is the picks that you need to go for. Looking to find one on instinct, tries to pop the ultimate. It's gonna be the support taken down as well. Yukino tries to bail, gets caught up by the knockup of Rhino. Seismic shove pulls him right back in.
Wow.
Shoko gets the kill, but here comes Bradley. He's arrived to the fight and he's hungry for them kills.
Oh my
I don't think that's Bradley anymore. I think this is Freeze. He's back from the dead. He's knocking them all cold and he brings it back for CCG.
Bradley is back in his old role, and he is not messing around, Eric. What a crazy clutch. That should have been the Drake for Ole Miss. That was the pick we wanted to see, but Bradley single-handedly, in an insane show of talent, just says no.
No. No.
Full stop.
That's Bradley for you right there. 8-0-2. Again, this guy was a mid laner for the longest time in his career, was only a top laner for TLC. It shows me.
Truly, the prodigal son has returned, because this was a great start. I can't express how great everything was, but we got to hold that thought, actually.
Oh, Bradley looking for another one. He's hungry, man. Knockup is going to be found, and it's a bad day for Crimson. Trevor trying to kite back and protect Instinct as the Dragon going to be secured in the name of CCG, but look at Bradley go. He's legendary. Yukino 3-talent strike gets a knockup. Even Trevor Roy is going to get some of the kills. It's a double for the support, and CCG will not let go.
And that's their sole point to top it all off as well. I think a Stray? Oh, yeah. They know he's there. Oh, this is actually a little awkward.
Yep, Yukino, let's get out. Get out. Why not? Why not? Oh no, Instinct's over here. That's right. Got the back pocket Instinct who's willing to hop over that wall and chase down Stray. Hey man, this is an Instinct. This is Ultra Instinct now. He's going full Goku and his tournament arc has just begun.
Ole Miss collapsing these last 5 minutes. Even the one play that looks so good for them ends up being a catastrophe, thanks to an incredible outplay from Bradley. Now, CCG, they're up 4,000. They're in deep in Ole Miss's jungle, and they're just threatening everybody.
Oh, no. Oh, this is as over as it gets. Simple chase from Bradley, who's going, what, double-digit on the kills now? Heroic entrance comes through, but it's actually an exit that Uncle Sam wants to find. Rhino will pop the ult, but what is it really gonna do? Bradley is here to play, he's here to slay, but Shoko wants some of the action as well. The chase coming out from Ole Miss. They find their opportunity to get back in on this, and a big shutdown on Bradley is exactly what you need, and Stray will cash in.
Yeah, that's the 1K coming through into Stray's back pocket, and that's still a 10-1-3 Ari. Bradley has been having a monstrous game. And the thing is, this happened because CCG were really overextended in Old Miss's jungle. They're still ahead, almost 3,000 gold. They're still in a really strong position. You look across the board here. 2 items for Instinct, almost 3 for Bradley. At 5 stacks, I don't really count Magi's. So, you know, we'll see if he can get there. Yukino is in a pretty good spot to heading towards the second item. Now the Herald, I assume, dropped because it was about to expire. Got dropped mid lane, which is a little unlucky.
Here she comes, Shelly down the mid lane. Not the best use of the Herald, Trevor. You're gonna hop in instead. No, we're gonna drift elsewhere. It's something about marksmen, man. They're addicted to clicking on Shelly.
For real though. What's going on?
Seismic Shove is not going to land on anything, and poor Shelly, unfortunate for her, she is slain without crashing into a single tower.
A waste of all her muscles and hard work in this off-season, Eric. It's really a shame.
How could you, Trevor?
I know. Oh well. CCG still in a really good position here. I think the big shout-outs is that Shogo, a big source of damage for the team. He's hit that second item. There's a big spike for Xayah. And there is that opportunity, if they get enough space for him, he can have some pretty big impact. But what we were talking about earlier, Old Miss's focus on who to take down, I said Instinct before, but we got to shift that focus to Bradley. He's so strong on this Ari. He does so much damage. And the key now is going to be to try and take him out of the picture alongside Instinct.
Yeah, I mean, the man's bottom edge arts. Got 5 stacks on it currently, so you can't let this guy continue to stack up. He has to be the first one to get popped. Can't be getting assists, he can't be getting kills, because this will snowball out of control. Currently 2.2k in the lead. It is not irredeemable for Ole Miss just yet.
No, the tough thing is that CCG have a Dragon Soul on the way, though, in a minute's time. I think even though Chemtech Soul isn't, the best one, I think there is value in it, in that, I mean, you take less damage when you're below 50% health. That's not nothing. I think that matters, especially in a position where Old Miss are behind. Any little bit increasing the time it takes for them to kill members of CCG, that's only a detriment.
Not completely trash rate. Just the worst we got.
Yeah, relative. Think about the other souls, man. They're all really good. I'm not going to list them out. Like, you know them.
Unfortunately, this is the soul we are dealt, and it's coming up in 20 seconds now, as the river belongs to CCG. But standing in 5v5 form, Ole Miss are looking for a way in. Crimson steps up first. Instinct gonna pop the ultimate. Now the chase right onto the only member that's forced to stay there. Your poor uncle is dead. Now going forward for more. Yukino Cat wants to take a bite, wants to take a chump, gets sent into the air by your uncle, but he is fine. He is A-okay. Yukino is good to fight for more. Shogo will make him pay, but Crimson returns fire. And just like that, 4 down for Ole Miss. It only cost them Yukino.
A 4 for 1. And it looked tough for a moment there. It seemed like there was going to be that response, but Ole Miss, they could only get 1 kill. And CCG's reward is that Dragon Soul. Unless Rhino wants to steal it with the Q, there's really nothing else to be done here. And this is starting off pretty slow. Usually, the way these fights want to go for Ole Miss is that someone goes in, probably Rhino, and your Uncle Sam follows up. But they're trying to kite it out. But they lose their top laner for free. That's the tough part. And even though it looked close, again, look at Bradley, look at Instinct. Are they dying? No? Okay, you're going to lose.
And even with this final attempt right here, Shogo, they turn on him so quickly. He still gets a kill, but Crimson's able to clap back, and it feels like Ole Miss can't just get something for nothing. They keep getting punished by CCG.
Right. I mean, at that time, CCG were the ones who caught them out. Ole Miss wanted to do something about this Dragon Soul, and it's kind of just been part of how this early game has gone.
Oh, Yukino engages one a heartbeat.
He just doesn't care, man.
Yeah, right after Rhino. And what a star-studded performance so far coming out from Bradley. 12-1-4 on this Ahri. Has a little bit of poking coming out from both sides, not really engaging into the fight completely. It's important that we take notice the purpose of tournaments like these. But first, we want to take notice of this fight unfolding as Ikino's still looking to swing hands. Ultimate was used by Trevor. And the jungle fight gonna go neutral.
I think things are just going to slow back down. I like the Yukino. He's just so confident in his strength right now, especially when he's synced up with his mid laner, who is really fed, like we mentioned. Oh, we got to hold that.
Stray's by himself. Over the wall comes Instinct, and Stray is realizing that not alone in this 1v1. Instinct will grab the kill. Just like that, it's another one going over CCG as they balloon their lead to 5k now. A fight breaking out in the jungle. They're able to grab Rhino. Uncle Sam can't get closer. I think he botched the Justice Punch right there. Icelandic takes a good chunk of damage from Bradley, who's just bringing the hurt, bringing the pain all day. Icelandic goes down. It's Crimson who grabs him. Now Bradley still going forward, able to land the charm right onto your Uncle Sam. Over the wall comes Instinct, will gun another one down, and Shogo tries his best to put on the fancy feet with the feathers. They fly, but ultimately will be clipped by CCG.
And that's the Baron. CCG, they just win fight after fight after fight, Eric, and it's gotten them this big purple worm, and feels like we are minutes away from this CCG victory. Minutes away from them earning a date with Mirage Alliance.
Gotta feel so good for this squad to put up a display this dominating beatdown. It feels like nothing can stop them.
Right, and it's crazy to think too that before this series, Old Miss, after many attempts, were never able to take a game, and we're really getting an idea as to why. I said at the beginning of the series, that grand finals in the qualifier 2 wasn't the Old Miss we know, but I still thought CCG were a better team. And we're just seeing it time and time again. They team fight, they play together so very well. I think Yukino and Bradley are just the best mid-jungle duo coming out of the qualifiers. These guys are so dominant, and a big part of why they come out of these early games with such tremendous leads that turn into wins.
Dre, where are you going? It's the wrong side. That doesn't belong to you. It's not your base. Instinct chasing down onto Icelandic. Bradley considering using the Spirit
I was
Rush,
gonna
but will not
say,
commit
I'm
to
like,
it.
is he him?
Dre's gonna get away. Now that was a long chase right there, but it's the Udyr, right? It takes us back to what? Trick 2G memes. See ya. So now Bradley caught out. This is gonna be another pick, a big shutdown for your Uncle Sam.
Wow, so ult was on cooldown, got caught up and CC chained basically into his own death. So it is a nice chunk of gold coming through, but it's still, dropping the bucket compared to what Old Miss have lost this game. It's going to take more than that, and it's rough too because there's no actual objective to fight for right now. Elder was up, that'd be great. Baron was up, that would also feel great. Unfortunately, neither of those things are. The only extra reprieve you get is Stray knocking down that top tier 2 turret, making extra use of that.
That's so funny. The
Why?
dude got away from being pressured in the bot lane, just ran it over to top and took the tower. He didn't even take the recall. He just ran it to top and took that tower instead.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice because you can see now the Kanik Brooklyn is done. Stray is really tanky, especially because he opted for the Fimbulwinter. It's just, it just doesn't feel like enough. I will say Instinct hasn't gone for any armor pen yet. Maybe he's going to opt into that LDR next. But the way a lot of these fights have been going, Stray has died isolated. So they're not really making full use of his tankiness inside of Old Miss.
Trying to now as they set up for a defense in the mid lane. Even with Yukino being caught out by the seismic shove, it doesn't really do too much for Old Miss to find and engage. It's just about buying time for CCG right now as they're just waiting out that timer on the Elder. Spawns in 45.
And this is the big deal here, Eric. The great equalizer, if you will. This Elder Drake. And now we're just going to see what the posture is looking like. You're seeing Old Miss, because Crimson was late, they're going to have that first look and are going to be able to take some space. Can they win?
Holding the side is going to be Crimson. Has to watch out for that seismic shove. Goes unstoppable now into the back line.
Wow.
Instinct is big. Heroic entrance comes through. You're only going to find one knock-up onto the marksman. Shogo now looking to back out. Here comes Bradley. Lands the charm right onto Stray. Stray starts to get low, and Instinct smells blood in the water. Wants to hunt down your Uncle Sam. Many low health bars for Ole Miss, but unable to clean up the kills is CCG, and the Weaver's wall will find the disengage.
No deaths, and everyone gets to walk away, so maybe Ole Miss are going to get another chance here, but it's tough. CCG, they're going to jump onto this Elder immediately and are going to try and burst this down. We're seeing teleports, though. Uh-oh.
Here we go. Stray runs right in. Gotta watch out for that charm of Bradley. He is a huge target that Ole Miss need to take down, but it's Ole Miss who are getting pushed right back into the fight. Bradley comes over the wall. Yukino looking for more. Finds Shogo. Bradley will grab the kill. Instinct gets another, and this is looking like the game right here. CCG, one of the biggest, baddest teams on the block. They start to eviscerate Ole Miss as they head for the base.
And that's going to be the 2-1 victory, earning CCG a date with Mirage Alliance in the upper semifinals. Fortunately, even though Ole Miss, were able to take a shot, Eric, CCG reminding us why Ole Miss have never taken a match.
One more kill picked off, and a lot of these members, man, I want to see in the NACL again. We saw Yukino before, Bradley, Instinct, Trevor, Crimson trying to follow the path of his brothers. Right now, CCG, this is how they celebrate victory. They go for one more little dive on the obelisk. But the Nexus crumbles, and CCG will proceed to face off against Mirage.
Finishing it off, 31 minutes, 9K gold lead, and this is the team from the qualifiers that everybody is expecting to make that jump into the NACL. Again, you got a lot of players who were there as recently as last year, and they're showing us what that experience does for you.
And what a great performance coming out from them, because there was a point I wanted to bring up, but we were just in a very, very chaotic game. The point of tournaments like this, it's not just to promote. It's not just to play out the tournament and find promotion. It's a different kind of promotion you're looking up. Upgrading your teams as well, like getting into maybe an LCS affiliated team, maybe an LCS team altogether. You want to look as good as possible. For players like Yukino, it's very forward facing for them. That's the goal, finding some level of promotion. Same thing with Bradley, who's willing to promote on both support, top, and mid, by the way. So this is a great use of that stage for these players to really demonstrate their skill, and I definitely want to hear from those players. So we're going to throw it over to short break. When we return, we will have I'm not sure who, but we'll get someone from CCG on an interview. We'll be right back.
Introducing the new Footlong Sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious Footlong cookie, Footlong pretzel, or Footlong churro.
Welcome back, everyone. We are joined by Instinct of CCG Esports. Congratulations on the win, brother. Welcome to the desk.
Thank you.
All right, first things first, I want to know a little bit about CCG. For a lot of our audience, we're just getting to learn about these teams for the first time as you come into the promotion tournament. So how did this group sort of form off? I was hearing from Yukino that he was very excited to play with you in particular, and there were some other changes going on. So walk me through it.
So yeah, I basically I've been like just grinding the game of solo queue with Yukino. We took the split off. We didn't play in NACL or anything, and then he got offered, and then we just decided to join a team together and play together. Since I think we two have really good synergy and we just know how to play off each other. And then we also saw Bradley was coming back from his Korean bootcamp, and I think he's just a really good prospect and he has really good experience since he won NACL twice. So I think that our team is just really good, and yeah, as you can see from the games, we just beat everyone through their OQs. We didn't drop a game.
Fair enough. I wanted to ask a little more about you specifically, because I know we saw you last spring in NACL, and that's kind of, we haven't really seen you since until you came back to play for CCG. So can you tell us a little bit about, what your goals were for improving? How far do you think you are at actually achieving those goals? Can you speak on that?
So basically on my off season, I just took a break from the game. But I was really like lacking confidence. So what I did during the off season was just build my confidence and just grind the game more. So to gain that confidence, and just decided to come back after I saw like NACL teams play each other, and then I wasn't really impressed, so I had to come back and just be like better than everyone.
To show them how it's done.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the story for most of you on that squad. I heard a similar thing from Bradley and his Korean boot camp, gaining confidence on the grind and stuff. So what in particular has brought out that confidence in you? I know you did say part of it was just seeing the players play, but in terms of like improvements and stuff, what have you been able to find?
I think just being able to take risks in game and not be scared to like take the game winning fight or game losing fight. I think just be confident in your own play, whether it's good or bad, and then just be able to learn from your mistakes if you messed up.
Straightforward as it gets.
Yeah. I mean, last question for me, Instinct, is we talked a little bit about your upcoming opponent in Barrage Alliance, and you had some choice words, so I'm going to give you a chance to say it again on air. You're playing them next. There are a lot of people who say you are the two teams that are likely going to make it out of the promotion. So what's your opinion on them, and how do you feel you stack up?
I don't think it'll be competitive. I don't think they're that good. I mean, they were last place in NACL. Changing like 2-3 players won't dramatically just help you become a better team, And I think if we just play our own game, we'll just smash them.
That's what I like to hear, man. I feel like we're entering this era of like trash talk now that we've seen APA over there.
Great.
But yeah, any shout outs you have, Instinct, before we let you go?
Not really. I just shout out to my team and coaching staff, and just shout out to CCG. That's about it.
All right, brother. It's been great having you for the interview. We're going to let you go now as getting pretty late into the night now. So take care and best of luck in the rest of the promotion tournament.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, Beatdown.
Made it.
We started exactly as we anticipated with nothing but 3-game bangers.
I told you exactly how this was going to play out, bro. It's just how it goes. And it's been a great day of games already. We had some pretty exciting matches coming through. Like you said, both going to 3 games. And we might as well just take this time before we close to look at the brackets and see what's up. We have our upper semifinals matches decided and ready to go. And guess what, Eric? Guess when they play?
What?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
I know.
you're telling me the action's not going to stop anytime soon?
Not until we know what's what. Not until we know who's going to be in the NACL. We are every day at the same time until this Saturday.
It's kind of wild how quickly we started up right after playoffs. But, I mean, we got business to do. We got teams to promote. And already we're off to the races with this one. At this point, we're going to start to close out because personally, I'm tired. Beatdown, I know you're tired. I know our viewers on the East Coast are tired.
It's only midnight, bro. It's fine.
Ole Miss is currently tired of that tornado that's bugging them at the moment. You know, they had to play against 2 teams at the same time. What is Harrisburg doing there? But at this point, a big shout out to some of our staff. Cynthia, Philip was here to be what calls himself the Budget Emily this time, as well as our observers. Samantha Price, big shout out over there. We are going to be rating Travis Gafford, so if you want to stick around, you can see it right there. Just chill out, and you'll have another stream to be watching for more entertainment. But again, the promotion tournament continues tomorrow, so be sure to be there. I want to see more action for Developmental League of Legends. But for the broadcast, this has been Beatdown Boulevard. I have been Des Rooks. I want to wish you a beautiful night, and we'll see you tomorrow for more NACL.